Hey, beautiful soul, namaste. I hope you are well, sending you infinite love and grace on this divine day. And in this video, I'm going to talk about chronic non belonging. Chronic non belonging. And earlier today, I was reflecting on my own life, and I have experienced this chronic non belonging for the majority of my life. Schools that I went to, workplaces, I never seemed to fit in anywhere that I would go, and I would often be rejected from different places. And even recently, this still happens to me on occasion. And it's tough. It's really tough. I lived with depression and really battled with depression for a very long time in my life. And it affected me on a very deep level. I never felt loved. I never felt accepted for who I was by society, by my community, and I really became outcasted and isolated. And yeah, it was very tough. I was very suicidal for a long time, and yeah, it was horrifically challenging. And I pray that by sharing this video that I can alleviate some of your suffering and help you to avoid any unnecessary suffering by giving you some insight into how I have got to a place now where I do feel like I belong within myself. And so what I went on the journey of was, when I was experiencing this chronic non-belonging, right, I went looking for things outside of myself, which was dangerous. It led to pain and suffering, because what I was seeking was within me, but at the time I didn't have that awareness. I didn't have the knowledge, the awareness, and so I went on this journey of seeking something outside of myself, looking for that place where I might belong, right? And so I got into yoga, and I used my yoga practice, and I went very deep into my yoga practice, but ultimately I was using it to spiritually bypass because I was avoiding going within. So I had my yoga practice over here, right, and it looked great, and but it wasn't serving me, because it was I was keeping it as something outside of myself. And then I went down the path of psychedelics, plant medicine, mushroom medicine, breath work, like altered states of consciousness. And that opened up to me the other realms, the other worlds, the upper astral, the lower astral, the infinite number of timelines that exist within the multiverse. I became aware of all these other worlds. I had all these mystical, spiritual experiences, and I started my ego kind of saw that as an opportunity to chime in and trick me and say, Ash, you don't belong here. Maybe you belong in these other worlds. So I became very focused and started to put a lot of time and energy into these other worlds, exploring these other realms, other worlds with other spiritual beings, right? Using my imagination and astro traveling and all this sort of stuff. And that, it was a great experience. I had lots of beautiful, beautiful experiences, and a lot of them have helped me a lot. However, my ego had tricked me into believing that was where I belonged and not here. And now what I have realized is that wherever I am, it doesn't matter. Wherever spirit has placed me is the place where I belong. I do belong, and I have been able to cultivate a feeling of belonging within myself over time. And I'm going to share with you how I did that in this video to help you avoid any unnecessary suffering yourself. So basically, right, the three pillars of power, right, have become the anchor for me in this space. And I continue to work with these every day and to embody them more and more within my being. And I'm going to share them with you in this video. So the first pillar of power is that you are the creator of your reality. Okay, that's the first pillar. Understanding that you are the creator of your reality, number one, right? Number two is understanding that because you are the creator and you are a magnificent creator, a creator that does not make any mistakes, right? You are the divine, the divine. Because you don't make any mistakes and you're a master creator, that means everything you create serves you, right? Particularly at the highest level, right? So pillar number 1, you are the creator of your reality. And pillar number 2, everything you create serves you, right? Pillar number 3, creation is finished, right? This is a fractal holographic universe perspective, right? Everything, God created the world in 7 days, everything is done. God is your higher self, right? It's all, creation is finished, right? There is an infinite number of versions of you that exist in the multiverse, right? That you can tune to using your vibration and become a vibrational match to, so that your inner world starts to reflect your outer world, okay? This is all based on frequency, energy, and vibration, which is what all of this is, okay? Now, when I started to meditate on these concepts, the 3 pillars of power, understanding that I was the creator of my reality, that everything I create serves me at the highest level, and that creation is finished, right? I suddenly felt a deep sense that, and the deeper that I anchored myself in these teachings or truths, whatever you want to call them, right? They have become truths for me, right? Very, very sacred truths. And they have helped me to reconcile many paradoxes and make sense of my reality and find a deep level of inner peace and a sense of belonging at last, right? I finally feel loved and accepted, right? And like I belong in this world. And it's because of those 3 pillars of power. So if you are struggling with this energy of and this feeling of chronic non-belonging, and you feel isolated and outcasted by society, and you're confused, right? That's what I invite you to meditate on and ponder deeply, deeply contemplate the 3 pillars of power. Understand that you are the creator of your reality. Everything you create serves you, and creation is finished, okay? And that will anchor you deeply in the present moment, knowing that you, of course, you belong exactly where you're meant to be, because you're the creator. You're at the center of it all, the center of your universe. And so basically, if I reflect back on my life, going back 15 years ago, before I knew these truths, before I knew that I was the creator, right? If you don't know that you are the creator, then you are going to perceive yourself as a victim, the victim of your circumstances and your life. And that's a very dangerous loop to be in, and it's a very low frequency, and it's very difficult to overcome obstacles and challenges from the perspective of a victim, okay? But when you anchor yourself in the perspective of the creator, and you understand that you created everything in your reality, including every challenge and obstacle that was placed in your way, you placed them there because you're the creator. So you create the challenge so that you can overcome it, okay? If you can anchor yourself in that perspective, right, it becomes incredibly empowering, right? You take ownership of everything in your life, because what I observed that happened in my life back when I was heavily programmed and brainwashed and conditioned into believing that I was just the victim of my circumstances, I portrayed myself as a victim, and it became, this chronic non-belonging. It was like, it became like a label, my identity, right? I started to associate myself as this fragmented, isolated, outcast character, right? And it became a self-fulfilling prophecy. I would even do things subconsciously to sabotage my own life and to ruin things that were and destroy things that were positive and that were beautiful in my life. And I destroyed, sadly, very sadly, I destroyed many beautiful things completely unconsciously without even being aware that I was doing it, because I was portraying myself and perceiving myself as a victim as opposed to the creator of my reality. This completely flipped for me when I switched from victim into creator, and it's still something that I'm embodying every day. I'm still working on this every day, anchoring myself more deeply in the tangible knowing that I am the creator of my reality and everything in it, including all the challenges and obstacles. Right? I'm the creator of the challenges, so I can know that I placed them there so that my lower self, the character, could overcome them. It was all designed as part of the grander plan. This evolution of consciousness that happens in the background is always happening in the background, right? Consciousness is always evolving itself through us, and we can be open and yeah, allow that natural process to just take place. So that's what really helped me. And the 3 pillars of power, I'll just repeat them again one more time. You're the creator of your reality. Everything you create serves you, and creation is finished, right? And so when you wake up in the morning and you just have that moment, just anchor yourself and meditate for a minute or two on those concepts, right? And just notice how they feel in your body. And if it feels good, and if it's taking you out of that energy of chronic non-belonging and helping you feel like you belong, right? That's a good sign that the concepts that you're playing around with, that you're sort of trying on, this theory of the fractal holographic universe, that this is a simulation and there's infinite timelines, you're trying it on and it's resonating it with your soul. And that's how we find our own truths that work for us. We can all have our own truths. We can all see the world differently. It doesn't matter. We're all seeing the world differently through billions of different perspectives, right? And that's a beautiful thing. We don't all have to see the world the same way. We're all unique, and the way that we look at the world can be unique as well. So I hope that helps. Namaste. Let me know what you think in the comments. I love you. Have a blessed week.